We all do it. We all make plans for our careers, our families, our finances. We love to map out our days, our months, even our years. But as we all know, life has this funny way of completely ignoring our carefully crafted blueprints. So the big question is, how do we plan and how do we trust in a world where we really can't control what happens tomorrow? Let's dive in and find out. Really think about it for a second. Have you ever planned something down to the last detail? A project, a vacation, a financial goal, only to have something totally unexpected, like a health crisis or a sudden economic downturn, just derail everything? It's a feeling we all know, right? That moment when you see your best laid plans just completely fall apart. The biblical author James just gets right to the heart of the matter with this incredible metaphor. He says our lives, with all our plans and ambitions, are as fleeting and unpredictable as a morning mist. You see it, it looks solid for a moment, and then poof, it's gone. This is the fundamental reality we have to start with. So, what's the real problem here? Let's be clear, it is not planning itself. Planning is wise. The real trap, the thing James is warning us about, is the attitude that so often comes with it. This arrogant self-reliance that completely leaves God out of the picture. And this right here is the crucial point. This is what's called human presumption. It's that mindset where we confidently say, as James describes it, today or tomorrow we're going to go into this city, spend a year there, do business, and make a bunch of money. Just like those ancient merchants he was talking to, it's so easy to become so confident in our own abilities that we leave zero room for God's will. And that whole way of thinking, it's just deeply flawed when you stop and think about it. We don't even know what's going to happen tomorrow. We plan to arrive somewhere, but 1,000 things could stop us. We plan to make a profit, but we could face a loss. And here's the kicker. We plan as if we're going to live forever, when in reality, we aren't even guaranteed our next breath. Okay, so if our lives are just a vapor, and our self-reliant plans are built on such shaky ground, what does it actually look like to plan in a way that shows we genuinely trust that there's a higher, better plan at work? Well, the answer isn't to just stop planning altogether. Not at all. It's to reframe how we do it. And for that, we've got a really simple, memorable guide, the BEST framework. It's 4 practical steps that can completely reorient our entire approach to making plans. All right, here they are, all laid out. We're going to walk through each one, but just look at the flow for a second. It starts with our internal attitude, being humble. Then it moves to our dependence on God and trusting everything. It deals with how we talk, stopping the boasting. And it finishes with what we actually do, taking action. Let's break it down.
First up, B. Be humble. This takes us right back to that vapor idea. Humility in planning basically means starting with this honest admission. I don't know what the future holds, and my time here is short. It's all about recognizing our own limitations right from the get-go.
Second, E. Entrust everything. This is where we make all of our plans conditional. Now that little phrase, if the Lord wills, isn't meant to be some robotic tagline you just tack on to the end of your sentences. It's supposed to be a real, genuine submission of the heart that says, look, if God doesn't want this for me, then I don't want it either. Third, S. Stop boasting. You know that proud, self-congratulatory tone we can get when we talk about our plans? Look what I'm gonna do. Well, when we do that, we're basically claiming full credit and control. And James calls this kind of arrogant talk evil because it completely ignores God's authority over our very lives. And finally, T, take action. This is so important. Trust is not passive. It's not about just sitting back and waiting for things to happen. It's about taking responsibility for the good we know we should be doing, right here, right now. It means we hold our future plans loosely, but we hold our present responsibilities tightly. So we've got the framework, but what does this actually look like in the real world? Let's paint a picture of the stark contrast between these two approaches, the path of self-reliant pride versus the path of trusting peace. All right, on one side, you've got Alex. He plans his business with total self-reliance, boasting about his 5-year plan. When a crisis hits, his entire world just collapses into disappointment and burnout. But on the other side is Sarah. She's also ambitious, but she holds her plans with an open hand. So when an obstacle shows up, she sees it as a chance to seek direction, and she ends up being guided to a path with even deeper purpose and peace. 2 paths, 2 very, very different outcomes. And listen, this doesn't just apply to huge career moves, it completely transforms our daily lives. When we live with that prideful, my way or the highway attitude, every little traffic jam or delay feels like a personal attack, and it just breeds anxiety. But when we live with a spirit of trust, we can adapt those same things with grace, seeing them not as interruptions, but as potential and sometimes even welcome redirections from God. Now, this is where it all comes together. Understanding these principles is one thing, but the message here is really emphatic. Knowing what's right is not the finish line, it's the starting line. This is the knockout punch from James. It's a direct challenge to every single one of us. Once you know the good you ought to do, whether that's being humble or entrusting your plans or stopping your boasting, well, failing to actually act on that knowledge has some serious spiritual weight. This is what theologians call a sin of omission. It's not about doing something wrong, it's about failing to do what you know is right. And it's considered an aggravated sin because you're consciously choosing to go against what your own conscience is telling you is good. You know better, but you don't do better.
So, how do we put this into practice immediately, like today? Here are 3 super simple but powerful steps. First, just pause for a second before making a plan. Second, get in the habit of saying, either out loud or just to yourself, if the Lord wills. And third, pick one good thing you know you've been putting off, maybe an apology, a kind act, a difficult task, and just do it.
And that brings us to the final question. This one is personal. It's for you to take with you. After hearing all of this, you now know the good to do. So the only question left is, what are you gonna do now?